What's your most memorable hand?
I think, look, I don't know, there was one under Jack, I think that, and I went out to Camberwell recently and remember McQueen?
Yep.
What's his name?
He took 8 for in that famous game.
Yeah.
I
remember when he rolled us and he was so stoked when look, and they were going for the outro. I suppose I think was it Brent Paul? Was he in that side too?
He was. Yeah.
Brent and I put 100 on, put on 100 in that set when they were really pushing. Look, I don't know. I reckon we played some pretty good hands together, and I don't think there was any. Like I said, I go to so many clubs now, and what I enjoy is you're remembered.
Yeah.
The catch-ups you have.
Yeah.
I think that in those days the standouts were Brunswick, Caulfield, and Ormond.
Yep.
Wonderful games.
Yeah.
And no quarter, and none given, none expected.
Very
tough
good
cricket, and Squizzy Taylor, or whatever. The Bandit, I mean, he was tremendous.
Yeah.
I don't think he got the wickets because people purely and simply tried to hold out against him and they got the wickets at the other end, which sometimes happens.
It does.
But can I just say, Eddie and Dave Jeffrey, they were just one of the, and everybody had so much respect for those two.
Did, yeah.
And I think they respected each other. Dave was just such a humble guy, a lovely guy, tremendous. I wish we had kept him at Preston a couple more, but he was happy to go back to Dooders. He was he was really happy, loved Dooders.
Won the 11 premierships at Dooders after that. Any wonder.
And footy and cricket,
Yeah. Dave, you became a life member of the club in 1989. That must have been a tremendous honour, and continues. How many Norrises are life members? It's quite a few, half a dozen.
Would be,
Yeah.
and I was really pleased that I got it that same year as Chipper, my old mate Chipper. I'm most pleased that I'm life member at both the baseball and the cricket club.
Yeah.
I think that's,
Big honour. You've had a long association with the baseball club, recognised recently for 50 consecutive years, or not consecutive, but 50 years service.
Yep.
So you're a life member there, a legend, a player. You played for a long time.
Yeah, I did. We played... and that's the other thing too. I mean, I played in a side that we had 3 Australian players and Johnny Hodges, Don Deeble and Graham Deeney, and yet and the rest were state players except for Ronnie Mack and myself. But we were. But like I say, it's the players you play with and against. I was just fortunate to play in what I think was the golden era of baseball. I mean, you played against or Nookie Swanson at Essendon, the same as at Brunswick, and Robbie Rowan. All of it did switch across to summer, but you were playing against and with wonderful players.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what I've got out of my sport, and I genuinely mean this about the friends that you've made. And even if you look at Preston, what's made Preston? There's even blokes like tremendous clubmen like Steve Hillam and these guys who have just
given so much.
Given so much, and I hope Steve won't mind me saying this, and I say this with the greatest amount of respect. That I always remember when I first got into the firsts, and I think it was later. He just said, and correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. I hate to say this, but he said you guys must really. If you only played one game in the firsts, that's because I don't think Steve ever did, but he got very, very close and possibly might have, I don't know, possibly should have got there. But he said you should cherish that and be very pleased and whatever that you have been able to play. And now we've played, not only done that, but played in the Premiership, and you know. So I think that's. But there were so many good guys around the club, Brow, and
Goes on.
the list goes on.
No.
And that's why I love going back to the club. And I think this 1860 thing's tremendous. But
now, people probably wouldn't know as well, Dave, that you've been an administrator at the baseball club, secretary for 30.
I've just done 20 years, but I was a bit before that. Yeah, yep. And yeah, well, I think you've got to try and put back in, like not just your playing years, not walk away. But I think that's what is the challenge for sport these days, and it's not. Baseball's really struggling now at the moment, and I think cricket is in a way that there's so many other things to do, and people don't want to dedicate their time or whatever to whatever. But like I said, I was just fortunate that when I started with such a huge, wonderful group of guys, and the eras that I've been through. I mean, and then you look at Molly and Hobbs that have been through. I mean, I would say this, that Molly and Hobbs would both say that I was probably the greatest team manager that they've ever had and contributed greatly to the premierships. They probably think it was them and whatever, but, you know...
It was the behind the scenes.
It was the behind the scenes thing, you know, me getting there with the chewing gum half an hour late, the right chewing gum at the right time, or Molly when I took Ports to the doctors after he got cleaned up at Brighton, all of those things, you know, greatly contributed to their success, which they haven't really. But anyway, I'll let that go.
Now, you also had a great honour, really, playing with your brother Richard, Dick, and your two nephews, Pete and Andy, at various times, and also played in games umpired by your dad.
Yep.
So that's quite unique, really.
It is. And Dad was very, very kind to me one day. He umpired me. And look, we all know that Dad had an accident, and he wasn't. He was never the same after that accident, sadly. And then, but we were down at Preston one day, and I've cover driven this ball to the keeper. He said, "Not out, son," and I said, "Thanks very much, Dad." which
went down well.
Yeah, it went down well, and I did feel guilty, and I did throw my hand away a little bit after that because I thought, "Oh no, look, that was, you know, I can't do that." But I will also mention that I wish I had have done this sooner, but Killer, Chip, Carpy, Nort, who I absolutely adore. Good on you, Nort. Love you so much. And Chipper and myself, we went on a cricket tour of England with the Centurions. Probably, I know you get into strife over this, the greatest holiday and the greatest time that we've ever had. We played some great cricket, but by crikey, it was the best trip we did. By God, we had some fun. And it was just wonderful. Some of the venues we played at, and some of the cricket we played, and Killer was in outstanding form, and Chipper was his normal self, bowling beanies at blokes, you know. But we had an absolute ball.
Dave, it would be remiss of us if we didn't talk about Terry and the girls, and you've now got 3 grandkids, and a couple of them are into cricket.
Yeah, they are. They're doing. Look, they're doing well. Yeah, I've got 2 beautiful daughters who I love very much. And Terry's been a great support all through cricket and whatever. She used to cut up the sandwiches. And can I say, when in the old days, had to cut the corners off the sandwiches and all of this sort of stuff. You know, things had to be done according to. Right, but my 3 grandkids. Jamie was very fortunate and got a job at Brighton Grammar when they came back from Auckland. and now Kylie is teaching there too, and Nate's 14. He's showing a bit of promise at cricket, and he's just started to play at Elstonwick this year in the juniors, and Ollie's got a lot of talent. He's 10, and I think the only thing that they don't have the patience anymore. They've got to learn a little bit of patience. They can play, they can hit the ball, but they want to hit the ball all the time, and too much T20 cricket, which I can't stand. But anyway, and Tilly, she's 12, and she's just she does a ballet, and anyway, last year she said she wanted to start playing cricket. She started playing cricket and she won the bowling award. And she's got a beautiful little action, and she loves her cricket, and I go and watch her every Wednesday night. And she, out of the three of them, listens more to Grandpa than the other two. And but no, they're doing really well, and I think that's lovely. Now that's my weekend, and Wednesday night is going and following them. And I look at Blake next door, Peter Bedford, you know, Wheels. Yep. His daughter lives next door, and I see a lot of him, and he's been giving him a bit of coaching, which is great. And that's another guy that we played against at Caulfield, and there's so many good friends in that. That's right. What cricket and baseball have been to me, and I really, I've, like I say, in my career at Preston, I've been blessed.
You have. Dave, on that note, it's been absolutely wonderful catching up with you.
Yeah.
You're one of the true characters, legends, stalwarts of the club over almost 60 years, and the club is indebted to you and your family for what they've given. So thank you very much.
Can I just say to all you guys out there that I've played with and against, that's... you've given me so much pleasure over the journey, and that's what it's all about. Scooter Hayton, there's another one. Benny, Mike Ryan. I mean, the list goes on. But Bags and Gary Moore, Bobby Morgan, Johnny. It's just wonderful. And all you guys, and I just, I've been blessed in the career I've had at Preston. Thanks, mate. Good on you.
Thank you.
And to all of you blokes that aren't feeling so flash, I'm thinking of you. Thanks, mate. That's great.